right, welcome everybody to Central Texas College. This is an exciting time for us because we're trying new things. My name is Mariceli Vargas, and I'm the Director of Student Life and Activities here on campus. Part of my job is to make sure that everybody is able to have a great experience when you're on campus, that you're ready to go as soon as you start your classes. This is kind of a weird time. This is the first time we have an online orientation. So thank you for being our first time, guinea pigs in a way, because we're trying new things and we're trying to be creative, and you guys are part of it. A few housekeeping rules. For anybody that comes online right now, please mute yourselves as you come in. That way we won't be able to hear anything in your background. Most of you are muted, but if you're not, please make sure to do so. Thank you. We're really excited today to talk to you about Central Texas College and what to expect this summer from your classes. Again, there's a lot of new things that have been going on, and we're just trying to make sure that we get you the most up-to-date information and that we answer as many questions as we can so that you can be successful in your program this summer and so that you can complete your degree. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. I want to get you the opportunity. I have a little PowerPoint. It's going to help me keep on track. But actually, before I do that, no, I'll do that. So the overview for today, so you guys can look at it. We're just going to have a quick welcome from the administration and from Central Texas College. Then we're going to go ahead and watch a little video on Eagle Mail and the importance of that. We're going to have a Blackboard overview, since all the classes are going to have a Blackboard component or a course sites component, but most of it is going to be in Blackboard. And you're going to have a chance to talk to the faculty members, answer some of the questions that you might have about how classes run and what things are expected of you. And then we'll have a Q&A afterwards. We'll also talk a little bit about some of the other events that we're going to be having today. So we'll explain that a little later. But for right now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can meet our Dean of Student Success and Persistence. She is Dean Starkey. And I have to stop sharing my screen. She wants to give you a very quick hello, Dean Starkey. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. I can see you and hear you. Yes.
Awesome. I just want to welcome everybody to Central Texas College. My name is Julie Starkey. You can reach me at jstarkey@ctcd.edu. Please send me questions or concerns. I am the Dean for Student Success and Persistence. So once you're a student with us, my job is to help you be successful. That's it in a nutshell. And so a lot of what I want to make sure that you have access to is resources that are going to help you be successful. And so through today, we will be able to share some of that information with you. You will be getting emails from us about various resources. Some of the things that I really want to highlight is if you are a student that requires accommodations through disability support services, please make sure you reach out to that area. We will send you information about that. If you at all need tutoring, we do have online tutoring available for you during this crazy time. We are going to send you information about that. If also you are struggling with trying to determine what your path should be, your degree plan, all of that, we have help for you with regards to all of that as well. So the resources that we provide, those are just some, are endless. Even in this crazy world that we're living in right now, when you can't come sit in my office and sit face to face with me, we still do all of this for you by telephone, by email, virtually in this capacity. And so I want you to reach out and I want you to know that we care about you. You're going to have an opportunity at the end to talk to faculty. We have a faculty panel that's happening, and that's where you're going to get the best information about how to be successful in your classes, because that's what I want. So I want you to pay particular attention to the advice that they are giving. And if you have a question, I want you to ask that. That is the thing that I want you to leave today with, is this notion of empowerment, that you've got to advocate for yourself. You've got to ask us questions. Don't think that there's a dumb question, because there's not. We want to answer it, because if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it too. So please, please, please ask it. Again, reach out to me. I want to hear from you. So send me an email, whatever. I promise I'm constantly on my email. I'm constantly looking at that. I know for many of you, email is not the way you prefer to communicate. You're going to learn in this way. We do communicate with you in that capacity. So please send us emails, because I promise you we're going to get back to you. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Mariceli, because I want to get on with the day.
All right, thank you, Dean Starkey. I am going to go back here, and like Dean Starkey said, one of the main things that we're going to do is show you information via Eagle Mail, which is what we call the Central Texas College mail that you are assigned once you complete your admissions process. So if everybody here has already completed your admissions process, in theory, you should already have your Eagle Mail and should have received an email from to the email that you use when you applied originally, giving you instructions on how to do that. But because not everybody does that, and not everybody knew about that, I'm going to show you a little video, and I'm going to share my screen for that. And this video is going to talk to you a little bit about Eagle Mail and the importance of it. And I'm sure you're going to hear more today. But, all right, let's play this little video. All right, so a lot of this information that you're going to be seeing, these videos, they're in the Central Texas College YouTube page. And I really recommend that you, if you have questions and don't remember where all of this is at, that you go there and that you take the opportunity to look at some of the videos. We have a lot of information in there. If you don't know how to do something, we will be able to actually explain to you how to do it, because they've taken the time to create videos that are smaller and will actually show you the information that you need. So in keeping up with our agenda, I wanted to see if Dr. Reese, she is a professor of the business department, she would take over the reins and guide us through Blackboard. Blackboard is the learning management system that we have on campus. And that is how you take your online classes. And she actually oversees a lot of the online classes for, well, not a lot, the online classes for the business department. So she can tell you exactly what's important in Blackboard, what you should be on the lookout for. And so I'm going to ask that Dr. Reese take, if you're able to, please take the stand.
Yes, ma'am, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, I'm not sure why that my video is not working, but I'll try to get that corrected in a second. Thank you all for being here today. We're excited to see you, to get to talk to you, to answer questions. As Ms. Vargas said, one of the things I'm going to do for you today is help walk you through through Blackboard. So if you are like, well, I don't even know what Blackboard is, that's okay. We're here to help you. So it's basically your virtual classroom. Since most of us won't be able to attend classes this summer in a lecture format, you'll be taking classes in an online format, a modified format for a lot of you guys. And so I'm just going to show you how to get there, what the classroom looks like. And the one thing that I want you to keep in mind is that what I'm showing you when I actually get into a class is going to be one of the business classes. So you'll still have basically the same setup, but things will look just a little bit different depending on how the department that you're taking classes with has their setup. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared. Just 1 second to do that. Okay, is that coming through? All right, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just step you through even how to get to Blackboard. So maybe you've heard of it, but you don't know how to find it. So this is the CTC homepage. If you are not familiar with it, you can go to ctcd, as in district.edu, and I have it typed in here at the top. Once you get there, there's several ways to get to Blackboard. So you might be familiar with a different way, but I'm going to show you the way that I think is easiest. So if you just hover over Student Tools here, and then you can bring your cursor down to Blackboard, you're going to click on Blackboard. And since I am in quite often in a lot of different classes, quite a few usernames pop up there for me. So no need to worry if nothing pops up for you since it's your first time and you're not really sure how to log in. You can click right down here to see Blackboard login instructions. Once you click on that, it's going to show you some examples of what the usernames and passwords are. So you can see here, and I'm going to highlight one of the examples. It shows this username of a lowercase c, and yes, it has to be lowercase, and then a bunch of numbers. So those numbers that follow the C will be your student ID number. If you don't know that, I'll show you how to find that as well. And then the password is going to be your date of birth, 2-digit month, 2-digit day, 2-digit year. So I'm going to back up. And if you don't know your student ID, you can click on this next area down here that says use Blackboard, or excuse me, use the Blackboard username lookup. You can click on this, and then once you get to this page, you will put in your personal information here, and then you will be supplied that username, which again is your student ID. So once you have that information, you can go back to the Blackboard screen right here, and I'm just going to quickly go through mine and get logged in. And this is basically what you're going to see. You're going to see different tools, different courses, announcements. One thing that I like to show people is this area over here will list all of your classes. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. You can see that I'm in quite a few right now. But under my courses, it lists every course that I have available. So if you're in one class for the summer, you will see one class listed there. If you are in 4 classes for the summer, you will see 4 classes listed there. And if you are a previous student, then you'll see some of those previous classes as well. So now I'm going to actually go into one of my classes that I already have open, and I'm going to show you through a student view. So I have what you will see when you log in. So let's just say you're signed up for my Human Resources Management course that begins next Monday. This is what you'll see when you log in. Most instructors have their Blackboard set to bring you straight to the announcements because we want to make sure that you see those announcements. You will hear me say today, and you will hear a lot of the other faculty members on the panel say, communication is key. Make sure to communicate. Make sure you're reading, paying attention, asking questions. This is an area that a lot of us use to just give some general updates about the class. So here are the announcements. On the left-hand side of the screen, this is going to look a little bit different for each instructor. But for the most part, this top area over here that's underneath the course name is going to remain the same. So if you have never taken an online class before, the first thing you're going to want to do is click on Start Here. Once I click on Start Here, you can just go through and read all of these great areas that our distance education staff have put together for us. So familiarizing yourself with the course, great resources that you have as a student, how to check your grades, how to communicate in class, and the list goes on and on. So I'm going to scroll to the top. So once you have access, you'll be able to start looking over the Start Here area. Another very important area for new students is this BioCig ID enrollment. I'm going to go ahead and click on it as I start explaining it to you. So basically, this BioCig ID helps us to identify you so that we know you are who you say you are. It is something that you will have to use when you're testing, even when you first get started in the class. For example, in my classes, I'll show you what this looks like in a moment. When you go to the lessons, there's no lessons there. You don't get to see your lessons until you do your BioCig ID, because we want you to get familiar with it, make sure you have it all set up. So when it's time for testing and when you go to verify yourself, we know that it's you. So what we would like for you to do is take some time, not right now, but once you get into Blackboard, look over this area, read over it. And if you're still confused, the great news is we have this video right here that I'm circling around that says BioCig ID enrollment video, and it's going to show you how to get that set up. And no need to worry if, you know, everything's good this semester and then you don't take another class until September and you go to log in and for some reason it's not working. There is a area down here. You can see questions, problems. There's a help desk that will help you to reset your password. So there's help at every turn. I'm going to scroll back up now. I already mentioned the announcements. Messages. This is a great area for you to be able to contact other students in your class as well as your faculty members. And then right below it is the Instructor Info, so that you know how to, if you don't want to send a message, you have the email there for your instructor, office hours once we resume them, and then of course our higher ups as well. So that's basic information in every class. Another area that is extremely important in all of your classes will be the syllabus. This basically is your roadmap to success. We will often say, check the syllabus, read the syllabus, make sure you're familiar with the syllabus. And we have a syllabus page 1 and a syllabus page 2. So when you're looking at your syllabus page 1, you'll go over it. It'll give you basic information about the course. It will talk to you or show you the course materials that are required, information on incompletes, which most of you won't need to know anything about that, frequently asked questions. And then I'm going to scroll back up and go to syllabus page 2, another very important area. It gives you the delivery terms of your class, meaning when it starts, when it stops. It also tells you, in case you're not sure what you signed up for, if it's a self-paced course or if it's a traditional course. And what that means, just so you know the difference in some of those, if you haven't signed up just yet, the OLL, or traditional online courses, that means we have a start date, we have an end date, and in between that we have lots of due dates, and you have to miss those due dates or you earn a 0 for that assignment. And an OSL course, that's an online self-paced course. With the online self-paced course, we still have a start and an end date, but in between is kind of up to you. We give you suggested to turn in your work, but if you miss one, it's okay. You can still submit all your work by the end of the class. Again, this isn't something we suggest, but it is something that you have that flexibility should you need that. The other thing I want to point out to you that is very important is that regardless if it's a self-paced course, a lecture course, and traditional online course, you have to be active in class the first week. If you're not, you may be dropped from the course for non-attendance, non-participation. So those terms that you see right there will tell you what those required first week activities are. And then as we move down the syllabus page 2, you will see information about your assignments, when they are due, so that it can help you stay on track. One thing that I suggest for students that are new to online would be to print this syllabus page 2, or at least the schedule of assignments, so that you can cross it off, put a check mark, so that you know that you have completed it. All right, so that's our syllabus. And again, each course is going to be unique to the department and then also to the instructor. But for the most part, this is how they're set up. Other things that you'll see underneath the syllabus could include the lessons, how to complete your case studies, discussion boards, how to get to your exams, those types of things. Again, that will be unique. The one thing I want to show you is what this looks like. Excuse me, one second. This BioCig. So one thing that I mentioned in the very beginning was that you'll have to complete your BioCig ID. Once you set that up, then you have to verify it. So from there, you'll have to select this BioCig Lesson Verification. And I'm going to step you through the process, so we'll see if mine works. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. When you're completing your BioCig ID, you're going to want to do something very simple, something that you can repeat. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. My allergies are bad this morning. So now you can see that I've completed my BioCig ID, and now I can see my lessons. Marcelli, do we have any questions at this point about Blackboard or other faculty members that want to add something? I can't hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Looking at Facebook, they didn't have any Blackboard specific questions. They have questions about other stuff. And I don't see any questions here. So no, we're good to go.
Okay.
Does anybody have a question about Blackboard and how that works that is in the WebEx? You can raise your hand or you can type in any questions at any moment. And we'll go ahead and move on. But if you still want to ask the question, we'll go ahead and come back because Dr. Reese is still going to be online and the other faculty members can still pop in and help answer questions. All right. So since I don't see anything right away, what I'm going to do is I am going to go on then to the faculty panel portion of the presentation today. And I want to you've already met Dr. Reese, so I'm going to give her a pass for now. But I'm going to ask that the rest of the panel introduce themselves, just mention who you are, what you do, and what you teach. And so forth. So I don't know, but who wants to start first? If not, I'll start calling names. Anybody?
I'll go first. I'm not bad. All right, I'm not bad. My name is Matt Lyles. I teach in the math department. So I'm not sure what else you wanted me to say, but we're here to answer your questions. We're very happy that you're here. Don't be shy about asking whatever pops into your brain. Like Mariceli said, that if you have a question, very likely plenty of other people have the exact same question. I do want to kind of keep re-emphasizing some things that Dr. Reese said. Communication is very crucial, especially since we're not able to meet face-to-face at present, that the announcements in Blackboard are exceedingly important. I know for our classes in the math department, we're live streaming them for our lecture courses. And so how do you get to those live streams? You check your announcements and your Eagle Mail, because that's where the information's coming from. So make sure you're checking those things, because that's how we're communicating with you, especially right now. It's crucial. So be checking that. And if you have questions or you get stuck at all, reach out to us. There's lots of ways to do it. One of the ways that hasn't been mentioned yet, there's an exciting thing called Eagles on Call. You can get to them off of our website. They have an easy to remember email address, eaglesoncall@ctcd.edu. So just throwing that out there early, but that's it. I'm Matt Lyles from the math department.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Who's next? I know Dr. Salvato, you in?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Stephen Salvato. I teach chemistry department. I want to welcome everyone. It's good to see that we have so many participants in the meeting. I had jotted down a few things I wanted to mention, and really they've already been spoken about, and that is communication is really big. I use Blackboard. I use the announcements. I post a lot of announcements in my online classes, face classes that are in kind of an online environment right now. Every time I post an announcement, I also email it to everyone in Eagle Mail account. So please check your Eagle Mail account often, and then also the syllabus. The very first day of class, I go over the syllabus in detail. That's a very important document. And I know it can be very, there's so much information, so many different classes, but that's where, as Mr. Lyles was talking about, communicate. If you have questions, don't feel bashful about emailing your professor. You're not bothering them. I mean, I want to hear from my students, because if you don't let me know you have a question, I'm not going to know that. So those are the things I wanted to mention, and I'll be happy to answer any questions as we move along here. But again, welcome everyone.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, I can definitely attest, especially with Professor Lyles. At one point, after everything, with the pandemic happened, he was definitely very adamant about making sure. He was like, "Why are my students not responding to me? Email is so important, and I want to talk about it in new student orientation." Well, he didn't say he wanted to talk about it, but I just included him in there. But like him, every single professor that I talked to or had some sort of communication with, all they wanted to do was know that you guys were okay, know that the students were okay. If you needed anything, how can we help? So please make sure that you're reading your emails, checking your announcements, because that is how financial aid is going to contact you, your professor. A lot of departments on campus are going to give you great information, and it's going to be through the email. So please, 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 you're going to hear it a lot today, but it's because it's that important. Let me see if there's any questions. Anybody have any questions specifically? You're welcome to ask them right now. You can either raise your hand or include it in your chat. I mean, you have to have for your professors, anything that has to do with how the class is going to be taught, or anything like that. Maybe can you, the professors online, can you talk a little bit about how the classes are going to be taught this summer and what the students can expect?
I can start with that. I'd be happy to. So each instructor is going to handle it a little bit differently. Each of us, I think, have kind of harped on the announcements and communication, and we will let you know individually how that's going to work. As Professor Lyle said, the math department does live streaming for their classes. The business department, ours are going to depend on the instructor. Some of ours that are set up as lecture courses, they will hold live WebExes. And if you can't attend at that specific time, you're able to watch it at a later time. Some other lecture instructors, they will record PowerPoint presentation audio and then upload that. So it really depends on the instructor. So make sure to look, at least for the business department, look at that instructor's announcements and see how they plan on handling the class. I did want to speak to a few of the chat questions, because I'm not sure if these were coming directly to me or the group, but y'all were asking about accessing Blackboard as it pertains to the class. So June 1st is a Monday. That's the next upcoming start date. So today, probably around noon would be the earliest that you would be able to access that class. So you have a few days to kind of get familiar with it before you actually start on Monday. Brand new students sometimes will not see that class loaded until Friday, but most of the time it's on a Thursday afternoon. So look for that starting this afternoon and then the next day as well.
I can echo what she just said. I just got an email that all my classes are starting on Monday have already been loaded. So my students are in and have access right now. But yeah, I didn't really have anything else to add.
Do you have anything?
I like it. Okay, I'll pop back in. So math courses, like they said, they're like I guess I said too, they're live streamed. So the idea is that it's difficult to learn math from a textbook. Most people don't excel with that. So we need to make it a more interactive experience, so that we've done that. And it's at the regular class time. You log in. We will send you a link, and you just click the link and hit join. You don't even have to download anything. It's a software built into Blackboard called Collaborate. Hang on, there's a question popping in. Would instructors prefer to be emailed on Eagle Mail or through a message function on Blackboard? No preference at all. We all get an email every time we get a Blackboard message, so it's literally equivalent for us. We will know either way, but whichever way you're more comfortable, it does not matter. And I would also say it doesn't matter what time of day you email your instructor. If we go to sleep at night, most of us. Some of y'all have different kind of hours, and that's fine. But if you're working on homework at 1 in the morning or something, and you have a question, ask it then, because you might forget otherwise. Send it out there. You know, we know how to silence our phones or whatever, and you're not going to bug us. And then when we get up and we're available, we will answer your email as quickly as we can. So don't hesitate to answer questions at any time.
All right, thank you. I know that I've been getting a lot of questions about how classes are going to be taught during the summer. Are we going to be able to be on campus or not? And I think we need to clarify that for anybody that is listening or trying to, figure out information. Does anybody want to take all that, or should I?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You might have the more official word. The official word that we got last was that we're not allowed on campus before June 30th. But at that point, they're still working on a plan that's not fully developed, I believe. Is that still accurate? That they're going to start bringing staff in at that point, and then they're still working on the plan for bringing students back, and that's not fully developed. Is that?
Pretty much. So pretty much the answer for the students is you're not going to be able to come on campus for the most part. There are very rare exceptions, and your professor will be the ones who dictate that. It will tell you about the option, but the reality is that right now we are not going to be able to have any students on campus throughout June. Not all of the services are being offered virtually, and so if you're not sure how to get a hold of an office, please let us know. We'll go ahead and try to help you figure that out. But everything is basically it's all in the website. A lot of the departments that like advising, for example, financial aid, veteran services, admissions, they all have a chat option in their website. So if you need assistance from an office, the best way to get a hold of them is through their chat site or through their email. So if they have a chat option right now, then you can go ahead and use that, and that's probably the best. If not, you can get a hold of somebody through email. We are working on getting more chats for different departments and other options for communicating with students and people in general, but for now, that is what we have available. And then I see here, as far as books, how do we purchase them? Does anybody want to talk about course materials?
I'll talk about course materials. I'd be happy to. As I showed you, and I can again if anybody wasn't here when I shared the screen for where to find course materials, there's a place on the website you can go, but you can also go directly in your Blackboard class to Syllabus Page 1, and it will show you what course materials you need. Oftentimes, you can purchase it directly through the course. It just depends on if you're comfortable with the ebook or if you actually want a hard copy of the book. So each subject is going to be a little bit different. I can speak for the business department. So most of our books go through Cengage Publishing. And with Cengage, they offer the ability to purchase the loose leaf text. You can find it on your own wherever you choose to shop. You can purchase it through the bookstore. Again, you can purchase it through the class. Some of our classes require what you'll see as an access code, which is a companion site through Cengage that we use for a lot of our classes. You'll also see something called Cengage Unlimited, meaning you pay one price and then you have the opportunity to have as many books as you need through Cengage. Students often ask me, should I get that Cengage Unlimited if I want the ebook? Well, I'll have to tell you, it depends on the classes that you're taking. So if you're only taking one class that uses a Cengage product, it is not worth the price. I would instead recommend, if you're okay with the ebook, a $50 ebook option that you purchase through the class. But if you have at least 3 classes that use Cengage, a Cengage product, then it's worth purchasing the Cengage Unlimited. But if you want to go through our bookstore on our homepage that I showed you earlier, ctcd.edu, and scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a link for the bookstore that you can purchase and order your books to be sent to you.
Yeah, and to be fair and to be clarified, the bookstore is not open for students to come to purchase books here on our campus. You will have to actually do everything online and order them online, and then they will be shipped. Let's see, I have another question here. How do we get our IDs? I don't think we can get one right now. Our CTC ID area is closed since all of our services are closed right now. And then let's see, I heard something about free books in the academic studio. Is this true? Yes, it's true, depending on depending on what degree plan you're on. And there is a form in eTrieve, and we can kind of explain that in a little bit, but I cannot hear you, Charlotte.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so I think I'm new to this online thing, but I get it. We don't really have a choice right now. So how do I know that I'm going to be successful in the classroom? Like, how do the professors, how will they keep track of me? How will they ensure that I'm successful? And if I fall behind, will they notify me? Is there some type of notification that tells me, yeah, I didn't do well on that exam like I thought I did? Like, yeah, how are we going to stay in contact with each other? Does that make sense?
Charlotte, that does make sense. And that's a great question. So the biggest thing I'm going to go back to is that communication. So oftentimes I feel like students, if they do poorly on that first exam or they miss a few deadlines, it's almost as if they shut down and just think there's no use in even continuing. You should still continue. Reach out to your instructors, let them know if you're confused, let them know if you need extra help, and then we can help guide you in those steps. A lot of instructors will reach out directly to you, will provide feedback to you on your discussions and other things that you have in class as well. The biggest thing is that we need to hear back from you. So oftentimes, and in fact, this morning I was grading some discussion boards and I put notes in these comments in a rubric, and I asked students to please contact me if they have any questions or if they don't understand something. And then I see them continue to do the same errors each time they post something. So one thing to do is to make sure that as we're giving you feedback, if it doesn't make sense, let us know. We're human. Sometimes we make mistakes in our delivery, and we're happy to explain it another way to you. So just make sure to keep that dialogue open. We also do alerts for our students. So if you start falling behind, we'll contact the academic studio and have them start reaching out to you as well. One of the problems sometimes that shows up, though, is if you're taking a self-paced course and you think, oh, I still have time. I got an alert, but I'm not worried about it. I still have a whole week left and I haven't done any of my work, but I have time. So sometimes students don't understand that when it's a self-paced course, we're still hoping that you're going to keep up with that as well. So biggest thing, ask questions, look for our feedback. make sure you understand how the instructor gives feedback. So if you haven't gotten anything and you don't know how to find your grades, or you're not sure what those comments are, make sure to ask your instructor how you can improve in some areas if you can't find that feedback, and they'll be sure to explain what's up.
Okay, great answer. Thank you.
Hey, Maricela, can I jump in about the alerts real quick?
Please do.
Student, you will receive, they're called retention alerts from the faculty and from the academic studio if there's an issue. The number one issue that we have that gets reported to the academic studio is missing work. It is the main thing that gets students in trouble, is that they fail to turn in an assignment. Dr. Reese talked to you about, within an online class, there are due dates within that class, and you have to meet those deadlines, and you have to turn in those assignments. And not always are there ways to go back and turn something in, but that is something that really gets students in trouble when and it can be something like your first assignment, doing a post online. And that one assignment, when you look at the end, if you don't do it, can really hurt you long term. So I want to caution all students from the get-go, and I think Dr. Reese talked to you about this, is printing out your syllabus and really checking off, I did this, I did this, I did this, because you don't want to miss an assignment, because that really hurts students, and we know that it does. And so I want you to work hard from the get-go of turning every single assignment in. That's all I have.
And I want to say one more thing on top of that as well, Dean Starkey. Thank you for saying that. I've actually had students explain to me and tell me that the reason they don't do their discussion boards is because they think they're going to do so great on those exams that they don't have to worry about those points. And then all of a sudden it's 2 days before class ends, and they're trying to hurry and submit any last minute assignments that they can, hoping that they can then pass. So please don't do that. We have the courses set up not just so that you can pass them, but so that you learn something. And discussion boards help in that process. So we choose those for a reason. Or if your instructor doesn't do discussion boards and they do some other type of written assignment, don't pick and choose the assignment you actually work through that roadmap on that syllabus, complete all of those assignments.
Awesome, thank you. So I have a lot of people asking about advising and financial aid. So I want to just take a moment, and I'm going to pause the faculty panel side and maybe show my screen here for a minute, because it seems like there's a lot, a need to discuss this real quick. So I'm just going to, oh, excuse me. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this, and this is our website, the main page, and I want to just show you a few things. So under students, if you are a veteran, you can go to military veterans down here, and that will be the page for the veterans. You can talk to the VA people here on Central Texas College to figure out how to pay for your class using VA or something along those lines. Financial aid is over here under current. And so I would say definitely talk to financial aid if you have questions. I know that there was a specific link. I'm going to show you under financial aid. If you notice this live help over here, that is their chat. If you click on that, it tells you their hours. If you click on that, it's going to bring up this page, and that is a chat, that option that you can use to actually contact. It's going to ask you some basic information. You submit the information, and then somebody will answer in less than a minute. So you can either do email, but I recommend that you use the chat option for most of this, because you will get somebody live that can talk to you. And then, because just like you guys, I'm lazy, I will do advisory in the search. And under academic advising, if you look, there's two options. There is for Texas students, and then you have the out-of-state students. And if you click on it, you can talk to an advisor that way as well. And then you also have the emails for Texas students and for the outside of Texas students. We have the Kate advising if you're in one of their programs, which would be like automotive, welding, office technology. They have their own advisors, and that's their email. And then if you're an international student, then that's the email to get a hold of somebody from International Student Services. I just wanted to show that because there seems to be a lot of questions with regards to that. And with regards to, can I still take classes in the summer? Faculty, can they take classes in the summer?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we want you to come and take classes in the summer.
Please sign up.
Please sign up. We definitely are ready for you. If for some reason you're not ready yet, we are going to be opening at registration for summer starting June 1st, so next week.
You mean fall?
Sorry, fall. Thank you. For fall classes next week. All right, let's see the questions here.
There was somebody that asked, so somebody named Nathan asked a while back, and then somebody else asked to reiterate it about how incoming students take placement tests, TSI, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Make sure that got addressed.
Thank you. So right now, because our testing center is closed, unfortunately, you can't come and test. However, if you speak to an academic advisor, and I just showed you how to do that, you can actually, they will give you options as to try to figure out what's the best way to get you into a class that's either math or English class, and at what level. They're the ones that are helping right now figure out how to do that. They have ways of doing it, which I'm not sure what that is, and they may have to register you themselves because of since you don't have, if you don't have a TSI test in the system, especially, then they're going to have to do that and help you do that. So please make sure that you contact them and do that as soon as possible, because that's really going to be helpful. The sooner you get that figured out so that you can register, the better. So thank you, Professor Lyles. Let's see, am I missing? How do I submit documents needed for admissions? Okay, that's a really good one. Again, admissions also has a chat option, and they have an email. A lot of the documents that they require admissions will probably be like your meningitis shot if you are under 21, I believe, and they'll tell you what that is. Or if they need some proof of residency that you're a Texas resident, then they might actually ask for that. So you can email them at admissions@ctcd.edu. Let's see, I did my FAFSA for 2021, so I sadly won't be able to start this summer, but fall, when should I start signing up for classes? Yes, right. What you can start doing if you did your FAFSA, you definitely can make sure you have your admissions and your advising done now. Because the registration, the first day you can register for fall classes is going to be June 1st. So what a lot of people do is that they'll go to WebAdvisor and they'll pre-plan their classes. And come June 1st, they'll just hit register officially. And that's, I would say, probably the best way of getting some of those classes, like Dr. Salvato's classes in his department. There are some in there. Do you want to talk about the classes and some of those classes, how difficult it can be sometimes to get into those classes and why you might want to plan them, Dr. Salvato?
Yeah, there are certain classes within the science department that are very, very popular due to the fact that a lot of nurses need them. It's part of the nursing program. So typically our microbiology for non majors, that class usually fills quickly. Anatomy and Physiology 1 is also another class. So if those need, you want to try to get into those as soon as you can. Of course, I would love for students to take chemistry too. The Chemistry 1411 is probably the fastest filling chemistry course that we have. It does have a prerequisite So you have to take that before you can take chemistry. But really, the microbiology for non-science, anatomy and physiology 1, those classes fill very quickly. So I would try to register for those as you can if you have plans for those. I might also mention that, you do not take too many difficult classes at the same time. There are a lot of times that students wait until the last couple of semesters and then they'll take a chemistry and a microbiology, a biology, just and maybe a math class, and you want to spread out those classes that are a little bit more difficult. Your degree plan will really help you, in terms of when to take courses, and of course your advisor.
Yes. I've seen students that have worked for me and they love Dr. Salvatore and his class, but then they know they have to put a lot of effort into it. So they'll take it with I call a fun class, a less course intensive class with it. Also, because of the labs, can you explain, like for some, especially anatomy and physiology, how the labs work, how it's really not really the same class almost? It's almost like a separate class onto its own for some of them. Can you explain some of that?
In terms of how you register for it?
Yeah, that's how you register and how it works once you're in the class.
Okay, so again, my area of expertise is chemistry. However, I will mention, and of course, this COVID put a whole different spin on how we do labs. But when you sign up for let's take anatomy and physiology, there's a lecture and then there's a lab, and they're two separate sections. You'll sign up for a lecture and you have to sign up with the lab as well. You don't have to have the lecture before the lab. You don't have to have the same professor for the lecture and the lab classes, but I say they're two separate classes. You register for two separate sections. You do not need both of the classes. They're combined into one course group, but WebAdvisor should not allow you to without the lab. It was the same way with chemistry, with physics, with biology, any science class, you're going to need a lecture and a lab with that. So make sure you use those. I can get into how we're doing things if we have time, Mariceli, with chemistry, with the certainly. So what we've had to do, since we're not able to come onto campus right now, what we're doing in chemistry, what I've done with my classes is I am doing voiceover PowerPoints basically. So I'm all of the content I present in class. If you were coming to campus and taking my class face to face, content I am putting into videos so that students can watch those videos. They can go back and watch them again, watch them as many times as they want. And then in terms of the laboratory, we're using kind of a virtual lab. So we have written our own procedures for those labs. So it's like an online virtual lab. You will go in and you'll have access to chemicals and beakers and test tubes, and you will follow a procedure for that particular experiment. You'll fill in your data. You'll upload that, take a picture of it or scan it, upload it to Blackboard, and then your lab professor will grade that. So that's how we're dealing with the lab until we're able to come back to campus. And each professor is doing some sort of lab. Some professors, I will tell you, I think Dr. Rabbani in the physics department has actually videoed himself doing the experiments and then calculations, kind of like a dry lab. So different things to try to get through this current scenario. But that's kind of what we're doing.
Great, thank you. I know that, yeah, some of the questions you probably touched on, but let's see, is anatomy and physiology 1 done online? Will the lab be on campus? Will the lab exams be online? Okay.
So is anatomy and physiology 1 done online? Yes, really right now for the summer, we're going to be teaching the classes, online. We typically, if we were doing a class face to face, we've got 24 students in lab. We can't have 24 students in lab. We have to have social distancing and everything. So right now we're not doing labs on campus. Now I can't speak, we're making plans for the fall. We have to be ready to go face to face or, in a virtual environment. So right now for this anatomy and physiology will be done online. Will the labs be on campus? Right now we're not planning for that. If this fall, I'll just speak for myself for chemistry, my organic chemistry, I've got 24 students in that class. If we're still going to be in a virtual kind of online environment for the fall, I may only be able to bring 6 students into the lab at a time. So, during the normally scheduled lab time. So we're trying to deal with this, but right now the labs are going to be online in some form or fashion. Lab exams be online. That I cannot answer for anatomy and physiology. For chemistry, we're planning for that to be done in some fashion. I think I've just lost connection. Can y'all still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry, my connection is kind of bad here. So I can't really speak to the lab exams online. Each professor is doing things for their own class, so I can't really speak for the science department as a whole on that. So I know that may not be just crystal clear, but at least for the summer, everything pretty much is going to be done online. I know some professors are modifying. If they would normally do 4 lab exams, they're cutting it back, doing different formats. So this is what I would recommend. If you know that you physiology, I would go to the CTC website, look up the email for them, and email them and ask. I have students do that to me a lot. How is the class going to be offered? What are your plans? And just ask them, and they'll.
Okay. Since Dr. Salvato, you kind of broke up a little bit. I just want to reiterate that last portion. If you know what class you want, you can go to the web advisor and it will tell you who the professor teaching the section is. And you can actually email the professor and ask how the class is going to be taught, what are the expectations, and you can ask them pretty much any question you want, and the professors will go ahead and respond. I just wanted to clarify that because I understood what you said, but you broke up a little bit, so I want to make sure that it was clear. Thank you. Let's see. I have, for Heather, I know you have a question about nursing program. I don't know why they haven't responded, but if you could send me your email on a personal chat, I would jot it down and follow up on it with you. Question, my math class is supposed to be online blended. Is it going to be completely online now? Also, I can't find the course number in the bookstore. What class, Minnie, are you trying to take? Oh, Minnie, Matt responded. Minnie, yes, online, but with live streaming of lecture, you will have access to your class in Blackboard today. I would reach out to the professor on the book situation. Yes. So if you can't find the course number in the bookstore, in the CTC bookstore, reach out to the professor so that he or she can help you figure it out.
Can I say something briefly here on that?
Yes, please.
So they coded the summer ones as blended because we're not allowed to go to campus, but it says blended because there's still going to be a live lecture, live at the scheduled class time. So that will still be there. Depending on your instructor will reach out to you. Students have been put into our classes today. Mine got put in right before this was starting this morning. So I have access to my students now. When this session right now is over, I'm going to send out information for my lectures starting for Monday. So your professor will be doing that as well. I'll be looking for that in both a course announcement in Blackboard and in your email. Like Dr. Salvato said, that when we make an double-click email students as well. So you'll get it 2 ways. But be looking for that information so that you'll know how they're going to be delivered to you. There's also some ancillary support stuff that comes with a lot of the books that we use. You know, I know that Dr. Reese said that they use Cengage products. We use some in the math department as well. We also use Pearson and some others. But a lot of those with the online homework manager that we will use, they come with some different videos and other support things in there as well. And your instructor will give you some information about those as you start your course. But there's a lot of things built into these classes to try to help you succeed. And we are all here, all of us, to try to help you to reach your goal in education, whatever your goal is. And if you feel like you're getting stuck, please tell us so that we can help you in whatever way that needs to be. You know, we want you to not be stuck, to keep moving forward, to be able to reach your goal, whatever your goal is. So, Minnie, if you still have a question, you let me know and we'll figure it out.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see, I'm graduating from high school on the 31st. Can I register for classes this summer? When and where do I send my high school transcripts? And the answer is yes, you can still take classes during the summer. Just make sure you apply and talk to an advisor immediately. Fill out your application right now online. You can contact the academic advisor for, the admissions department. They can look and see if you already took a TSI. They might be able to look it over and make sure that you have that in the system. And then the academic advisors can then help you out, getting you a degree plan and figuring out what classes you need to register for. You don't have a lot of time because classes for the summer, most of them start June 1st. There are some that start later. So I would say start working on it right now. With the transcript, that is depending on what high school you're with. A lot of the local high schools will send us your transcripts automatically, but you can talk to the academic advisor about that and they'll tell you the details. Okay. It's 10. Let me look in line because I have not been looking there in a little bit. Let me see if there's any other burning questions. Otherwise, I am going to talk to you a little bit about the rest of the day. I think we got all those questions answered. So let me go back to my PowerPoint and share the screen real quick. All right, so later today, we're basically going to be having a pathways showcase, and we're going to have different ones going on. And depending on what degree plan you're interested in, then you should join in. You can go to any or all of these. And so I just want to go really briefly over what the different options are. They include arts, humanities, and media. That one is going to be, oh, I didn't write down what time it was going to be, but that's going to be today. That includes anybody who's interested in communication, media, technology, drama, graphics and printing, journalism, modern languages, music, social science, and visual arts. And you can sign up for that. That's the link on there that you can actually, so you can register for that. Then, let me actually do this. Make it big. Yes, there we go. For business and business technology, that's going to be next. And that's going to include Dr. Reese in it. It's going to be at 10:30. And that's if you're interested in accounting, business, cloud computing architecture, culinary arts and hospitality, cybersecurity, information technology, logistics and supply chain management, network system administration, office technology, project management, and real estate. If you're interested in construction, manufacturing, and transportation, that's going to be at 6:30 p.m. today. Link is there. That would include automotive technology, aviation, computer-aided drafting and design, construction trades, blacksmith, diesel technology, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration technology, truck driving, and welding. Healthcare, if you're interested in any healthcare field, then you can participate at noon today in this one. This would include certified nurse aide, clinical medical assistant, EMT paramedic, fitness and wellness, histology, massage therapy, medical lab technician, mental health services, covering myself up, mental health services and social work, medical office technology, nursing, pharmacy technician, phlebotomy, and vet assistant. For public service, that's going to be at 4:30 p.m. today, and that's going to be child development, criminal justice, fire service administration, homeland security and emergency management, kinesiology, paralegal, police academy, or teaching. And then we have the STEM. That includes agricultural science, electronics, engineering, industrial control, and robotic technology, mathematics, programming and software development, and science, any of the sciences. That's going to be at 1:30 p.m. today. And those are all the clusters that we have for your career pathways. You're welcome to join any and all. We're also going to be streaming them live through Facebook. If you have a Facebook, you can do that as well. If not, you can just click or go to the links depending on what cluster you're interested in. My last slide here real quick is financial aid. If you have questions about financial aid and you haven't already requested financial aid for fall, you should do that. And here's the school code. Please make sure that you do that as quickly as possible if you haven't done so already. All right, that concludes my presentation. I want to thank everybody that has participated in one way or another today. Special shout out to the faculty panel, who was so great and actually helped answer a lot of these questions, and they're always willing to help. So I want to say thank you, thank you. And let's see, there was no more questions on here. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll be heading to the business department one, and I want to thank everybody and have a good day.